Hey y'all, Origin Zero here with a Q&A 2024. So I asked questions on my Discord, and if I had enough, I would make a video. And the people that did ask questions asked 2 questions each, so we have 10 questions here, which was about the minimum I was looking for. So without further ado, I will read these questions right here in this video and answer them for you all here. Alright, so let's get started here. Mang Vang VO asks, will there ever be a tournament-style arc? Oh, you better believe there will be. A huge fun thing about these card game series is that there are pretty much always tournament arcs where you get all the characters that you have gotten to know get together, and then you get to root on your favorite one and see if they win. It's super fun. Especially in this series because I try not to be as predictable with my main character and stuff. So it could be like there could be who knows who wins the tournament, right? So yeah, you better believe there will be a tournament arc, and it's the next arc. Meng Veng Vio also asks, what exactly is the fatal option when beginning to go against an opponent? Ah, yes. This hasn't been officially shown yet. It's very strongly hinted at in the synopsis for the Wake the Will webtoon. Anyone who's up to date with Wake the Will on webtoon, you're going to find out how that fatal option works pretty soon. All right, next we have The Beast asks, will there ever be a crossover chapter or episode? If you mean crossover with other webtoons or other series, it's not likely. It's not impossible, but I don't think it's very likely that I'm going to be doing something like that, even though it does sound like it could be cool. Only because this series is just kind of in its own little bubble, so it's kind of hard for other universes to get mixed in with it, if that makes any sense. They also ask, how does it feel meeting people such as other artists, animators, and voice actors? It feels great. A big reason I'm doing Wake the Will at all to begin with is to network with other voice actors, other artists, other creative minds, just for future possibilities, and see what everyone's up to, because it's really hard in this day and age to be noticed. And so a big reason I even do the Discord to begin with too is to, again, network and meet with other voice actors, artists, other creative people, because who knows what kind of cool little project may come up in the future. You never know. Next we have Caleb Jamirez VA asks, will Carmen ever like Durgi? Not looking too likely. Caleb also asks, will we see Evan branch off into a different type? If you mean a different kind of deck, or a deck focused around a different boss, it is possible. I do have plans where his deck may change during the course of the series. So all I can really say is it's possible that he may change his deck a little bit. But he's, for the most part, going to be playing his trusty Destiny Dragon because that's just a part of Evan's character. Like, it's his avatar card. It's his reason for fighting. Like, he gets excited just by having Destiny Dragon in his hand, so he's never going to get rid of it. He's always going to use it. Okay, next we have Della. Shout out to Della because she's actually the voice actress for Carmen. So, Della asks, when will Evan and Carmen confess their feelings for each other? Della, what'd I say? What did I say? No spoiler questions. You're the VA for Carmen, but still, you can't ask that right now. Well, anyone who's up to date is sort of seeing where that may be going, but of course I'm not gonna officially say when Carmen and Evan will, or if they will, confess. We got to get to the end of the story, and then we're gonna find out for sure whether they do or not. Adele also asks, have you thought of creating an alternate universe with Carmen showing a ton of emotion, such as her laughing or crying? Basically, Carmen is the main character of this story, and she's not quite like 100% stoic, where like nothing makes her react or anything, and she always has like the same cold face on. but she has a very cold exterior. Once you get to know her, you start to see that she's got a bit of a warmer interior. Like she's a little more warm-hearted than it looks like. However, again, on the outside, Carmen shows very little emotion, and she only really like reacts to like certain situations, and more of who she is bottled up deep inside really only comes out when she's interacting or dealing with Evan. So as far as, again, it's kind of spoilerish again, Della, like what are you doing? But I can say that she's already, anyone who's kept up with the webtoon, she's shown some emotion, and depending on what happens in the webtoon, you could see other sides of her come out. I don't think I'm ever gonna have her just go over the top or something crazy, but at least in canon. As far as an alternate universe, again, I don't really see that as a possibility. I'm going to go more further in depth when I answer the final question in this video. Well, I'll answer the question, and then I'll be going further into detail as to what my actual plans are going to be. But at this time, I don't consider there's ever really going to be like a crossover with somebody else or like an alternate universe at this point. I don't think I'm going to do that, really. So we are down to our last two questions, and they are both by DB Projects. This is another person I want to shout out because they've been following what I've been doing since like 2018, so big shout out to you, friend. DB Projects asks, how's your dev journey with Wake the Will been so far? Being completely honest with my audience, it has been a mixed bag. I brought it back after redoing it so many times, and only publicly one other time. Pretty much like one or two times. Before this, I was doing it like more publicly. Before that, it was with a small group of friends, and at the very, very beginning of time in the Stone Age, it was just by myself and maybe just with my brother, you know. I am happy that I'm finally getting it to a final state and calling out a definitive version for this idea that I've had for a million years. That part is very fulfilling. The hard part about it, and what makes it not entirely enjoyable, is that I'm really actually phasing out art from my life. This is kind of going to be like the last thing I do when it comes to art, because I want to just go on to something else. I've tried art for many, many, many years, and professionally, it makes me miserable. Like, I only really like doing it if it's, like, and for selfish reason. It's only if I'm completely catering to myself and doing what I want to do. That's the only time I seem to be able to enjoy it. Otherwise, I don't enjoy it. It feels like work. It feels like a chore. It's just how it came to be. I tried for many, many years to get into it, like, professionally and treat it seriously and, you know, everything. And I just don't like the feeling of trying to be perfect, trying to appease other people. That's just not fun for me. Instead, and again, I'm using this as a stepping stone as well, is to get into voice acting, which is something I feel way more serious, way more professionally passionate about, because I'm more open to critique there. I'm more interested in improving and seeing where it goes, and like it's just way, way more enjoyable and fulfilling in that regard. So it's a mixed bag. I am, again, happy that I'm doing it. I feel like it's like satisfying this demon that has been like lurking around me for years, just because it's a story I've always really, really wanted to tell. Last question by DB here, and the last question of the video is, do you ever plan to create a simulator or video game for it? I probably already answered this too based on how I answered the previous question, but the answer for this simply is no. I don't have any plans on making a video game for it, or a simulator or anything like that. If I start doing things like that, then people will start to think it's something I'm pursuing professionally, which is not what I want to do. When I first started this up a year ago, rebooting the series one last time and rebooting the card game one last time, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it. I was kind of feeling around. I just was like, all right, regardless of what happens, I want a final definitive version of Wake the Will. And I wasn't too sure what I ultimately wanted to do, but I was definitely feeling like I did not want to do anything professional. I didn't want to, you know, try to make money off of it or anything like that. It was literally just to have it live one more time, have like a new generation experience it, maybe get inspired by it. Like, that's like the ultimate goal, really, right? I'm really just looking to tell the story I've always wanted to tell, get it off my mind, and then just move on with my life, and then have something kind of cool and fun that I can look back on like 20 years down the road, like past when it was done, and just be like, oh, look at this cool little thing I made. And then, like, I wouldn't even have this feeling of, oh, I could change it or I could improve it or whatever. It'll just be like this fun little thing that I can look back on and have fun with. And then along the way, if, there's like 10 people or something that really get into it, then awesome. Maybe if it inspires anybody to go and pursue their own hobbies or their own professions in any way, whether that's voice acting or art or storytelling or whatever, that's super awesome to me. I feel like I always wanted to hit some sort of point where it's like, this is my limit. This is me 100%. Like, who I was when I was doing art. And it's also like an avenue of like everything that I learned, because I went to school and everything. It's a whole story that probably deserves to be in its own video, especially because I've been going on and on about it already. The journey has been super long. A lot of time and effort was put into the art field. So Wake the Will is also like this final little last hurrah for me as far as art and storytelling. And that's why I'm going all out with it as well, getting voice actors, voice acting myself with Evan, and all this other stuff. Just to have one final big bang, almost like a very elaborate plain pretend. But instead, it's helping to network with other voice actors and giving them something to voice in. We also have a very nice mixture of voice actors that have been doing it for a long time, as well as new ones that are up and coming. And I plan on having a good mixture in the cast. The cast is very, very huge. Many, many characters, many, many summons. Because of that, so many people have a chance to get in on this project, even though they don't, they're not getting paid. I'm not paying myself. I plan to just keep it that way as like a strictly like volunteer passion project that whoever wants to be a part of it, you're more than welcome. Come on in. Happy to have you. It's great having all these voice actors together in one spot where we can just go in and just have fun. And there's not a lot of card game series out there. Like I think I can name them on one hand. Like there's really not that many. Anyone who wanted to voice in those things, it's hard, right? There's not many of them. So here's your chance. Like you can voice act in my crazy thing that I'm doing right now. We're gonna end the Q&A there. This has been Origin Zero. We did our Q&A for 2024. I plan to do this every year as our community grows. Thank you all for watching this video, and stay tuned for more content.